Give me the next few minutes and I'll guarantee you'll learn something that will drastically improve your email marketing. My name is Verneri Brander, I'm the CEO and founder of GrowTrigger. My team has generated over $50 million in revenue for e-commerce brands in the last 2 years. During that time, I've discovered 4 proven strategies that can literally double or triple your revenue from email marketing, but most brands have no idea these even exist. Let me show you exactly what these strategies are, starting with point number 1. Now, strategy number 1 is the unintuitive, high-converting pop-up. If you could double the opt-in rate of your sign-up form, you'd basically double your email list growth. And this means you would double the people to nurture, you would double the potential buyers, and of course, you'd also lower your acquisition cost without spending a single extra cent on advertising. And this all means that even if everything else and your email conversion rates stay the same, doubling your email list growth would basically 2x your revenue potential from email marketing with no other changes in any other of the emails themselves. But here's the problem. Most brands today are still doing nothing more than stating the sign up to our newsletter for 10% off offer. And customers have seen that 1,000 times. Their time goes straight to the X button before even reading. And the question is, how do we flip the script here and make them actually convert to the list and then make them convert to buyers? And the answer is zero-party data and micro-commitment. So here's what we've found across dozens of e-commerce brands we work with. The highest converting pop-ups use a micro-commitment and a data collection as the first step in the pop-up. So instead of immediately asking for an email, you basically ask them a low-friction question. Something like, what problem are you trying to solve, or what's your main goal? So you can see here, as the example pop-up from Half, you've got 15% off to claim your discount, share your number 1 health goal. And then they are sharing improved nutrition, mental well-being, better sleep, exercise and fitness. So there's 4 different answers they can give. And then after they press this, they're going to be able to go to the next window where they're going to be giving the email address itself. Now, this works for a couple of reasons. First of all, the first reason is the commitment bias. So clicking a button is way easier than typing, and that first click also builds momentum and makes them commit to something, this small action that they're taking. So once someone starts the process, they're much more likely to finish it. And this principle, like I said, is called commitment bias. And this phenomenon increases, the percentage of people who sign up drastically. And then the second thing here, why this works, is the zero-party data collection. So not only do you grow your list faster, but you're also collecting the zero-party data on every subscriber that's joining your list. So you're understanding what they care about, what problems they're are trying to solve, and then what products or results are they looking for. Here you can see an example from one of our clients. We're collecting this data on every month. So you can see when we started to collect it and now we're collecting it more and more, we can see that, okay, health goal, weight loss, there's so many people signing up that are, aiming to achieve weight loss. And then these many people are aiming to achieve anti-aging. And then based on this data, we can personalize the welcome flow, we can personalize product recommendations, we can basically personalize the entire email marketing journey from campaigns to different automation flows, lifecycle journeys and everything. And then you can even personalize your paid ads and CRO based on the real insights and optimize those. So, here's an example. In the welcome flow, we have different paths for weight loss, for anti-aging, and then for sexual health. And then the content obviously is really different in each of these paths, and product recommendations are also really different. And this way we're going to be able to recommend stuff for each person based on what they're actually looking. So if they're looking for sexual health improvements, they're probably not looking at the same products as these people here. Now we can optimize the funnel, and if we are collecting this data, we can also utilize it. We can pass it over to the other teams like paid media team, CRO team, to optimize the website, to optimize the ads, the angles, the creatives there, and so on. So this is working, to make the whole funnel more efficient, increase the conversion rates. And, this was the second reason. The first one was just getting more people to the list. But then the second reason, more people are joining the list, but also more people are converting to customers because we're personalizing the funnel and optimizing it even better based on the data. Now, there's 2 common objections I hear about this strategy. The number one being, won't this decrease the sign-up rates? And like I explained above, that's simply not what the data shows. For all the businesses we're doing this, adding this step actually increases the sign-up significantly. So, the first step is easier than asking for personal information or the email straight away. And because of the commitment bias, people are also following through on the steps that come after. And yeah, here's an example. The average pop-up sign-up rate in e-commerce is somewhere between 2 to 4%. But for our clients, Soil of Beauty, for example, I'm using here them as an example, for whom we most recently implemented this structure, we have turned on 6 pop-ups where the sign-up rates are literally 10 to 15x higher than the industry average. And here you can see the images below. I'm also going to go into their Klaviyo in just a second to show this to you. But basically, you can see here that in the first step of the window, we're giving them, this is in Finnish, but we're basically giving them, you've received a mystery gift, and then, reveal the gift by telling us where you're, looking for help the most. And then there's like skin problems, increasing them, or like improving the, skin around your eyes, and like natural skincare, and then, all of the above. And, here you can see that in the first step in this pop-up, for example, we're actually getting 60% of people to press one of the buttons. And then even on the second step, 2/3 of those. So in total, 2% of people at the current stage are actually giving their email address as well. So this is crazy. This is like 15 times higher than the average, like the industry average of signing up to the pop-up. And then we're also collecting the data for them. So you can see, I'm gonna go into this window. This is their Klaviyo sign-up forms, and you can see this one is 42.7% right now, and it's the one that I just showed you. All of the data, you can see right now 60% engagement rate on the first step, 43 on the second step, and then we go into the actual form itself. You can see here, this is how it looks like. So you receive the mystery gift, then they're giving the data for us, and then on the next step, they're gonna be giving their email address. So that's basically how the pop-up works. On the next step here, they actually have the code as well, and yeah, so this is basically how the whole process works for them right now. And yeah, the second, this was the first reason that people are, like the objection that I hear from people about the strategy, want to decrease the sign rates. Now I already answered that. And then the second objection that we are usually facing is, we don't just want more people on our list, we actually care about those people who actually buy from us. So, it doesn't help if there's a huge amount of people joining our list and we have to pay for all of those profiles, but they're not actually converting. Obviously that's the thing, just getting more people to your list doesn't matter unless those people actually buy something from you. If done right, this approach I've explained also increases the conversion rates of those people who sign up, not just the number of people who join the email list. So we're getting more people onto the list, and then we're also getting a higher percentage of those people to buy from us within the first 30 days and even after that. And that's because the data collection we're doing and then the personalization that we're doing, based on that in the whole funnel afterwards. So personalizing the content, welcome flow and everything, it's then gonna also increase the conversion rates of those people who sign up to the list. And here's a case study to prove my point. If you want to go deeper, you have access to this doc and to this video here and this case study strategy here. So basically in this case study, we showed them how we more than 6x the list growth and almost doubled the conversion rates at the same time for one of our telehealth e-commerce clients. Now, strategy number 2 is where 95% of brands fail. I've personally audited over 200 email accounts of 7 to 9 figure e-commerce brands, and I see this mistake over and over again. And by the way, if you're an e-commerce brand and you want a free retention marketing audit, then click the first link in the description below to book it. Now let's move on to the strategy number 2. It's the non-discount campaign strategy. And most e-commerce brands fall into one of the two traps here. So they either barely send emails at all, maybe once every few weeks or so, once every month or something. Or the other trap is that they're only sending when there's a discount or a promotion or like side-wide sale to push. But here's the problem. Your customers are getting hit with hundreds of marketing messages every single day. And if you only show up when you have a promotion, you're invisible for them for the rest of the time. And even worse, you become just another brand asking for money. At the same time, you're becoming a brand who only attracts those type of discount-seeking customers too. And the result, you're basically killing your margins and hurting your business in that moment, but also for the future. The biggest misconception around email marketing is that sending more emails means sending more sales emails. That's actually the fastest way to fatigue your email list, end up in spam folder, also devalue your whole brand reputation to become this discount brand. So what are the winning brands actually doing in 2025? Well, they're sending more emails, but with a completely different approach. So they're leading with value and education, they're entertaining and empowering their customers, and they're actually building a connection first and only selling after that. And here's what we've actually found works best. So the best approach here is to send 2 to 4 value-driven campaigns per week on average, only run major promotional campaigns every 1 to 2 months on average. And then if you're a brand selling one-time products, maybe you want to ditch the discounts altogether. So let's say you're selling sofas, somebody buys a sofa from you, they're necessarily not buying another one ever, or at least in a long time. You don't want to lose the margin on the first sale because that's probably the only one you're getting from them. So you maybe don't want to push this, sales every month, because then your list is just buying with the discounts and you're basically hurting your whole business model and the whole business margins of your business. And for the brands we work with, our email content is usually built around these 6 core pillars in a way that we're mainly doing non-discount stuff, and then we're doing these promotions once every 1 to 2 months. And I'm going to show you a couple of examples here, but basically we divide our email content across these 6 core pillars. So the first one is product campaigns. This is basically like product highlights, product showcases, showcasing the benefits of the products, the features of the products, use cases, applications of them, and everything like that. And here you can see an example of a product campaign. So this is from Heights. Basically, this is like a product launch, one type of a product campaign. So this is like, focusing on the product itself. The product is straight away here in the hero section. Then there's the CTA to shop it. Then there's, showcase of the product, the benefits of it, and features as well. And then there's some social proof about this product. And then there's like a, product read of different flavors of this product at the bottom. So this is the example here of a product campaign. Then the second pillar that we're doing for our clients and for e-commerce brand in general is social proof. So we're sharing customer reviews, UGC, testimonials, PR mentions, and before afters, all kinds of stuff like that. And an example of that kind of email, this is a plain text email, but this is from Press. Basically, hey yo, I just wanted to take a moment today to say thank you. This is from one of their team members, and one recent note really hit me. They're giving this testimonial of one of their clients in this plain text email. So it's kind of like combining this personal plain text email angle with this discount, with this like social proof campaign angle. So there's the testimonial from the client. They're kind of like thanking their customers for being so great and so on. And this is a nice example of a social proof campaign with a little bit of like a unique twist there. The third pillar here, engagement. So this is what a big part of our campaigns on a monthly basis relies on. So there's so many different things you can do here. There's blog showcases, repurposing the blog content of your website, tutorials, quizzes, polls, interactive emails, industry insights. Basically, you're willing to give value, drive clicks and replies, and just bring more warm traffic to your site. So that's the main goal, like getting people to, be curious about clicking the email. Maybe you're sharing like a teaser of some blog article on your site, and then people are clicking to the blog, they're ending on your website. And then when they're on the website, some of them are just like, I might as well, shop something and so on. So you're bringing more warm traffic to the site and then converting those people straight after that. So an example of that kind of campaign is here from one of our clients, Effecti. So this is like a flowchart email. Sorry for the quality, it's a little bit bad right now, but meet your perfect match. And then you're kind of like explaining what's your main health goal. There's weight loss, longevity, and then you're educating about all of these products differently based on what they're looking for. Looking for powerful metabolic support here, then need an energy and longevity boost, go for NAD+, and then prefer simpler, more affordable alternative, and then looking to enhance metabolism and energy, want needle-free option, want a needle-free option here, and so on. So this is an example of an engagement campaign as well. Then the fourth pillar is re-engagement. So this is basically about winning back lapsed customers with clever angles, not just discounts. And you can also use discounts here, but it's whatever you feel like, whatever is right for your brand and so on. But I'm gonna show you one example from DuraDry right now. So here's one of their founder, Jack. This is like a branded plain text email. They have their header section here, the logo here, and then it's like a letter from the founder basically. So hey there, it's Jack from DuraDry. I want to thank you for being a customer in the past. And then kind of like re-emphasizing the value proposition of the brand and asking them to come back, or offering them a chance to come back with a 10% discount code. And then there's the shop now button, and then there's the signature and image of the founder to make it feel even more personal. And yeah, these kind of win back campaigns usually work pretty well. All right, then the fifth pillar is active customer and VIP campaigns. So this is mainly about sending love to your best customers. So sharing exclusive content, surprise gifts, loyalty playbooks, stuff like that. And also sometimes you can also ask them stuff like maybe you want to ask them for feedback and testimonials because they have been with you for so long. And then you can also offer them some kind of incentive for that, like, okay, as a thank you, we're going to be sending you this gift if you're giving this testimonial for us or something like that. And an example of that here, loyal customer feedback collection. This is from one of our clients as well. So basically, hey there, this is sent for people who have purchased 3 times from us, and then we're asking them what keeps them coming back for us. And then also, if you've been tracking your progress, we'd love to see it. Share your before and after photos, and we'll add 120 euros in credit to your Zephyrian account as a thank you. Just reply here to get started. And this is building engagement, getting these people to reply to us, giving us before afters, giving us social proof content to utilize in the funnel, but also offering them an incentive because they're loyal customers. So it works in multiple different ways. And then the final pillar here is the promotion. Of course, I was saying that this is a non-discount campaign strategy, but the way, as I explained above, is basically we want to be mainly focusing on non-discount stuff, but then maybe once every 1 to 2 months we're going to be running these promotional campaigns. And these can be time-limited offers, bundles and launches, whatever like this. And these work best when you keep them scarce after using the other content pillars to prime your subscribers for purchase. So you're sending these kind of campaigns all the time. You're priming your customers, you're giving them value, empowering them, educating them, entertaining them. And then, you open up for this sale maybe once every 1 month, once every 2 months. And then these people are more primed to purchase. Maybe a lot of them have already purchased, but then those people who have still not gone over the fence, and now this is like the final nudge they need because they already trust you and know more about you because of all of the other content that you've been sending. And here's an example example of another client of ours. How do we do these promotions? This is like a really, really high converting angle we've been doing for a lot of our clients. Basically like a credit added email. So we're adding credit to the customer accounts, and here's like credited to account 1750, expires on this time, and then hey there, this is your last chance to use the Easter credit we've added to your account. If you've been stock stalled and unsure where to begin, this is your moment, and so on. Then there's unique code they can use to use this discount, and then there's a couple of product recommendations and signature of the team. And this is a really, really high performing credit angle or like promotion angle. Instead of giving them X dollars off from something, we actually position it in a way that we have already, like they already have this money on their account, and if they don't use it, it's gonna expire. So then it's gonna be feeling like they're losing something if they don't purchase, and it completely flips the script, increases the conversions really, really drastically in the email promotions that we're running. Alright, yeah, why this approach works instead of just like sending less campaigns or sending only promotional campaigns. There's a couple of reasons. First of all, the top of mind effect. So when you show up consistently, not just during a sale, your brand becomes familiar. Even if someone isn't ready to buy today, you'll be the one they think of when they are. And that's brand equity, and email is a really, really good channel to build it because it's the channel you own. You don't need to pay a lot for the emails that you're sending. You just need to pay the price to manage the CRM like Klaviyo. And yeah, you're just sending and you're building the brand equity, and you're bringing the top of mind awareness. So here's like an example of maybe your customers are unaware of the brand at the start, then they become recognizing your brand, they recall your brand, and then at the end of the day, you're the top of mind brand. Whenever they think of the category that you're in, they're going to be thinking of you and buying from you. So that's really, really ideal position to be in. Then the second thing why this works, customer empowerment and education. So the more helpful and relevant your emails are, the more trust and emotional connection you build. And when people trust you, they simply buy more, even without discounts. Because trust is something that's hard to achieve these days. There's so much fake stuff going on, so much fluff going on, AI driven content, inauthentic stuff. If you're actually able to keep everything authentic, that's just working for you, because you're going to be then standing out from the sea of other brands who are not authentic, and also who are not empowering their customers, educating them customers, and so on. So you want to be building this connection, you want to be helping your customers, and then you want to be the brand who is kind of like positioning yourself as this solution to their problems and your products as the solution. Third reason why this works, site traffic. So basically, more campaigns you're sending, more consistent warm traffic are you getting to your site. And even if these people don't buy right away, they're still entering your flows, and they're being retargeted and staying in your funnel. And a visit is a chance to convert. So this is why we basically want to, get people onto the list or get people onto your site with the email. So we're sending engagement campaigns, blog showcases. People are clicking the emails, they're landing into your site, then they're browsing on the site, and then basically they're going to be triggering like browse abandonment flows, cart abandonment flows, checkout abandonment flows, site abandonment flows, and then they're going to be retargeted with those, and eventually, going down the funnel until they purchase. And then the fourth thing, obviously as a byproduct of all of the things above, there's sales. So when you finally do run a promotional sequence at the end of the month or at the end of the 2 months or something, it lands way harder because now your list is primed, they've been educated, entertained, and nurtured, and then the promotion, like I said, is just the final nudge to get them over the edge and to get them to make the purchase. And yeah, here you can see, you have this document, because you're watching this video, you can see how to plan a monthly email campaign calendar in just a couple of minutes. And in this video, I'm going to be explaining how to do it, how to use your custom email marketing GPT to build an optimized data-driven email campaign calendar in just a couple of minutes. And also here you can see some example of high converting email newsletters, both non-discount and discount emails. I'm breaking it down in this Figma file and in this video. So these are best campaigns of April we were running for all of our clients, highest converting ones. So you can just steal these from here. They are editable templates in the Figma. So all yours, but I'm not going to be going into them in this video right now. Now, strategy number 3 is personal plain text emails. And here you can see an example of this. Hope you're doing well and loving your last purchase of Balanced Coffee. I'm writing to ask a quick favor. Could you drop a review of your latest purchase and include a photo or a video of it as well? And then, we're giving them an incentive to do so. And then signing this as the founder of Balanced Coffee, James. And, most email marketing advice you're getting is basically advising you to make every single email look like a mini billboard following the default design layout, including branded headers, product reads, infographics, and just using all of these, design tricks to, maximize the conversions. Don't get me wrong, that stuff is really great and it's important and you need to use it in, majority of your emails actually. But also need this kind of other, pattern interrupt kind of content. And here's what we're seeing these days after working with 50 plus e-commerce brands doing 7 to 9 figures in revenue. In 2025, customers are actually craving something really different, something that feels real. So I already, touched on this a little bit above, but basically there's so much inauthentic stuff going on that people actually want something that feels authentic, feels real. Because here's the truth, when something looks like marketing, people are just like their brains are automatically tuning out. And when in contrast there's a message that looks like it's from a real person, that gets read every time. So what do we do instead of these designed emails, or actually together with these, not instead but adding into the mix basically? We're bringing in plain text emails strategically into the content mix, and these are emails that look like they've been sent by a real person from a normal Gmail inbox instead of an email service provider like Klaviyo. So here you can see, Klaviyo's tutorial on how to create text-only emails, or basically how to do those. You're gonna be just going into the template editor. You can, from the three dots, switch to text-only editor, and you can just, when you're inside flows, you can do it in a way that you go into the email, you add the email here, and then you pick text-only instead of the drag-and-drop builder. And then it basically looks like this. You can just write the email here, and then it becomes this text-only email without having any kind of design there. And then it looks like it's actually sent from a real person. It's landing on your Gmail just like any other, normal email would if your friend was sending you something or something like that. So it's a real pattern interrupt, and it's a good way to get people to notice your emails more. And you want these to be signed by an individual as well. So basically, usually we do it in a way that we have the founder with their name signing it up, or the CEO, or maybe like a customer success team member or something like this. And you also want to use these intentionally at key lifecycle touch points inside your automated flows, and then some specific types of campaigns, not just mindlessly sending these all the time, because they need to have a strategy behind them. They need to be this pattern interrupt. And when done right, the results from sending these plain text emails are wild. And where does this work best? Here are a couple of places where we've actually been using them and where they're absolutely crushing it against designed emails, even when A/B testing between those two. So first of all, like survey requests, maybe you have a welcome flow, abandonment flow, some campaign where you're asking, let's say in welcome flow, you can add a survey email at the end of the welcome flow for those people who haven't purchased yet. Like, okay, what is making you not make your first purchase? Can we help you somehow? That kind of email. Same in the abandonment flows. You can have like a FAQ email, or you can have at the end of the abandonment flow for those people who didn't convert, like, what is the reason you ended up abandoning your cart this time? Was it like too high price, or you didn't trust us, or you just, didn't want the product right now, you were just browsing or something like that? Those are usually good to also do in plain text format. And then same with campaigns. Maybe you're sending these kind of VIP customer service or lapsed customer service. Usually it's better if they're coming as a plain text email from the founder. Maybe there's like a link to Typeform if you need that, but if you don't need that, you can just send an email as a founder, ask people to respond to that email, and then that's doing two things. It's basically boosting your deliverability because people are responding, but it's also giving you the data that you are looking for. Then other places where this work, thank you notes, like a post-purchase flow, thanking the customer for their first purchase with the brand's founder's name or something. Then also really good places, last chance offers in maybe like win-back campaigns, or just during site-wide promotions, like, hey, just reminding you that our promotion is running out in 6 hours or something, it's expiring soon. If you want to make your purchase still, do it right now, and stuff like that. And then behind the scenes updates from the founder, something that's been happening on behind the scenes. Maybe you want to have these as plain text emails, and then potential like customer milestone check-ins. Like we have a lot of telehealth clients, their customers have been on the treatment for, let's say, 1 or 2 months. We're checking in as a customer success rep, like, hey, how's it going right now with the treatment? Any help you need? Any challenges you're facing? Let us help. And then people are responding to it like crazy, because it's just something that starts a conversation with them. And why these work already, as I explained, they feel like real communication, not another sales email, and they get customers to engage, reply, and convert. And here's the kicker, like I said, they also help your overall deliverability, because when inbox providers like Gmail see the engagement go up, or they see the people are responding to your emails, that's boosting the inbox placement across all sends done from your email domain. And this is one of those rare tactics that basically costs you nothing. It's really, really simple to do. It's actually much faster to write these emails than writing like designed emails, because you actually need to do the design as well, but it's still increasing both your revenue and the loyalty and the brand image of your brand by making you feel more authentic and real, as I said. Here's a couple of examples. This one is from Heights. This is last call from a promotion like Sleep Energy Bundle. Like I said, save $80 or 80 pounds on your Sleep and Energy Bundle. Here's what you're getting, a total savings this much. This could be your moment. 30-day guarantee applies, and then the better days and nights Jules, and so it's signed by them, and then having the CTS blended into the email. So this is a good way to use this. Another good way here with Bress, I already showed this to you, but this is the social proof email. They're sharing this is kind of like an appreciation email from their team. Much love, Corbin from Bress, and then sharing this customer testimonial, like being grateful about their customers and so on. And then at the end, this is really funny, like they have this magic button. So basically, I've seen them use this a couple of times. This is basically just landing their site, but when you write it like this, people just sometimes want to press it because because they have no idea where it leads to. So they just press it and you're increasing the engagement, click rates, and amount of people you're getting to your site just by having this funny little addition at the bottom here. And another example from one of our clients, Zephirion. Hey, first off, thanks for joining us. This is basically an example of like this welcome survey email, for people who haven't purchased yet. I noticed you haven't used your 50% welcome discount yet, and I just wanted to check in. Anything holding you back, any questions or concerns, feel free to reply with your questions. I'm happy to help. And then, giving the link to the discount again, and then, signing it off as the founder of the brand. And finally, how do you make these plain text emails work? You just need to keep them simple. So you need to write like you're talking to a friend. You want to keep the design minimal, send us plain text email within your ESP. You want to use a real name as the sender name, so maybe founders or customer service rep's name, like whatever, John from X brand or something. Then tackle common objections and concerns personally, so make it feel like it's authentic. Don't just make it like a fully optimized copywriting direct response email. Make it actually sound like it's coming from the founder. Add some personal touch into it. It goes a long way because people can see it if it's just like AI generated fully. And then all of these, using all of these ways here, keeping it simple, using these tips, you're showing your customers that there's actually real people behind your brand. And when people are feeling that, as I already said many times, they start trusting you more, buying more from you, and then also coming back for more. To note, use these sparingly to keep them feeling like a pattern interrupt, like I also mentioned, because the contrast between this and your regular designed emails makes the impact even stronger. As long as you still do these designed emails as well, but then you use these plain text emails in these, strategic touch points, kind of like these ones here, where it makes sense. You just use those in those cases, and then, majority of your emails still are these designed emails. And then final strategy number 4 is the deliverability fundamentals. And here's the brutal truth. If your emails land in the spam folder, none of your other strategies matter. So you could have the world's best brand, an award-winning subject line, flawless design and copy, but if Gmail, Outlook, Apple Mail, any of the inbox providers decide to dump your message into the junk folder, you're completely invisible for them. And for all of your customers, basically, even the best ones. And here's a real-life example to prove my point. The impact of this. This is one of our clients before we fixed their deliverability here versus after we had fixed it. I've already created another video of this before, but basically you can see their metrics at the start. 5% open rates, spam rates are crazy, like they should be below 0.03, maybe even 0.01, but this is like 20 times higher than it should be. They had been making $34, so one sale from their email marketing in the past month, because every single email was landing straight into the spam folder. Even the first, welcome email was landing straight there. And that's why, no one saw the email, so no one could also buy, and they were making nothing with their email marketing. And then their email revenue and the numbers, we were able to fix their deliverability, just focusing on the fundamentals, get their open rate to 50% plus, get their click rates up, their bounce rates down a lot, and then spam complaint rates are still a little bit high, but we were at this stage already, getting these down. We were cleaning the list, so we were kind of like sending these sunset emails. That's why there's a little bit more unsubscribes and spam complaints, but all of the other metrics went really healthy. People started opening the emails. The click rate here is actually higher than it would be, because at this time there was this bot click epidemic going on in the email marketing space. So reality, this was maybe like 2% or something, but anyways. And with this change, getting them their emails out from the spam folder, getting people to start seeing them, we actually took them to $30,000 in email revenue 30 days after healing the domain reputation. So we basically, when we started to heal the domain reputation, it took like a month, and then the next month after that, we were already $30K monthly revenue from email marketing compared to nothing before we fixed the deliverability. And here you can see the actual huge impact. This is basically the first thing you need to optimize. You need to make sure that you're optimizing in your email funnel, because if you're not, like I said, nothing else matters. You could have everything set up extremely well, but if your deliverability pushes your emails to spam folder, no one is going to open your emails, no one is going to buy from them. And here's the scary part. Most brands don't even realize this is happening. So they're blasting promos to their full list every week, thinking, more sends equals more revenue. But what they're actually doing is sending to people who don't care about your emails, who should not be on the list in the first place, or maybe just to bots and fake profiles. Now, why is this a problem? Because when email providers notice the pattern of people not opening your emails, not engaging with them, they start flagging you as low quality. And once that happens, even your best customers might stop seeing your emails altogether. So even if there's some people who have been opening your emails, they would like to see your emails. If everyone else is marking your emails as spam, even the best customers are not going to be seeing them anymore. It's even going to start landing to spam for them, and then they just don't realize that, you're sending still, but they just don't know it because they're all going to the spam folder. And the bad part is that fixing a broken sender reputation is way harder than preventing it in the first place. And most brands think reaching a high deliverability score requires some ultra technical domain setup or like email wizardry. And while it's true you need to optimize your email infrastructure to set up a custom domain with authentication, it's just a small piece of the puzzle. And at the end of the day, the email deliverability is actually stupid simple, and I'm gonna explain it to you right now. So here's how to actually optimize your email deliverability. First of all, you need to set up a custom sending domain with proper verification and authentication. So SPF, DKIM, DMARC, and then as a bonus, BIMI and Apple branded mail. These are things that are not obligatory, but basically if you set these up, your emails are going to be showing, like when you're sending emails, your logo is showing up next to your sender name, and it's going to increase the brand recognition. So that's why I recommend doing it as well. But these are the fundamentals you need to optimize: setting up the domain, setting up the verification. And Klaviyo has a good article here I've linked that explains how you can set this up. There's a video, and there's explaining how it works, everything like that, how to set up the DMARC as well. So you can find everything from here. Then the second thing, how to optimize your email deliverability. Once you have the sending infrastructure optimized with the step number 1, you need to start sending to your engaged segments most of the time. So you want to default to sending campaigns to subscribers who opened or clicked in the last 90 days. That's usually the starting point. Unless you have a really bad reputation, then we might need to go even lower, but this is a starting point. So if deliverability is weak, you need to tighten to 60 to 30 days or something like that. If it's consistently strong, you're getting like 50% plus open rates, you can slowly expand up to 120 days, 150 days, even 180 days sometimes. For some clients, we're able to maintain this with high deliverability as long as we start to slowly, gradually increase from this point on, tracking the open rates, tracking the engagement, and then as we see it's staying healthy, we are slowly expanding to this bigger segment. And then you also might need to adjust by inbox provider. So sometimes, let's say Outlook has lower open rates than Gmail. Maybe you need to use a 30-day engagement segment for Outlook if open rates are low there, and then you need to use 90-day for Gmail, for example. This is not that common, but for some clients where we're actually healing their deliverability when it was low, as in the example I explained here, we actually needed to do this. Like we noticed that Gmail started to push the emails into the inbox, but there was still issues with Outlook and Hotmail, so we actually needed to use the tighter engaged segment for Outlook and Hotmail, and then with Gmail we started to expand it faster. And then this is the default, sending to the most engaged profiles, but then you also want, like I explained in the previous step, send these full list promos occasionally. And then let's say you're doing like one promotion every month, one discount every month. In this email you want to actually send it to your whole list, because the majority of the emails you're sending to the engaged segment, focusing on the most engaged people, showing to the inbox providers that your content is valuable, people are engaging with it, and then basically you're just opening up to the full list occasionally to try to re-engage those people who are not engaging. If you're doing it occasionally, it's not gonna hurt your deliverability. You can sustain that hit that you're taking there, but if you're constantly sending the full list, usually that's gonna put your emails to the spam folder. And as you monitor the open rates, you should aim to go broader with the ultimate goal to reach as many people as possible without hurting your deliverability. So that's what I explained here. This is the default, but you want to start going further as long as your open rates allow for it and your domain reputation allows for it. Because this way you're both keeping your emails in the inbox, but also maximizing the number of people who are seeing your emails consistently. And as a result, there's gonna be higher revenue potential from your emails because more people are gonna be seeing them every week and every couple of days when you're sending them. Now, step number 3 on the deliverability optimization is excluding the following exclusion segments from your main email campaigns. So you want to exclude global campaign exclusion. This is basically a segment that contains all of the people who are currently going through any of the automated flows in your email setup. So we don't want to send campaigns for those at the same time. We want to keep them on this one customer journey at a time without having these overlapping journeys. So when somebody's in your welcome flow, cart abandonment flow, post-purchase flow, we don't want to be sending campaigns and newsletters for them at the same time. Same thing for these other segments: spam.roll accounts, suppression segment, chronic bounces, recent bounces, spam traps, and recent buyers usually. Sometimes we include them, but usually we don't want to include them because let's say somebody just bought something, then you're having a promotion. You don't want to, give them the promotional code because then they're just gonna see that I just bought this item for no discount and now they're offering me a discount. It's gonna be a really bad experience. Maybe they're canceling their order and buying again with the discount or something. So that's why we usually, recommend excluding the recent buyers, as they're anyway gonna be on the post-purchase journey and we want to optimize that instead of trying to push them something more at the same time. In this document here, the Klaviyo segmentation checklist, I've attached it to you to utilize it in any way you wish. So here you have all of the segmentation strategies we're using at CrowdTrigger, all of the segments with all of the definitions of these segments as well, how to build them out, like engage segments, everything. So you can find them here. here, and also with the list cleaning segments, you can find all of the conditions here, how to build a segment in Klaviyo, so you can go deeper into them on your own time. But basically you will have step-by-step instructions on building all of these within this document here. Now step number 4 is to regularly clean your email list. And what we're actually doing these days, we are using this automated Klaviyo list cleaning process where we basically set up webhook triggered flows that are cleaning your list in real time. So whenever somebody joins any of these list cleaning segments, they're getting cleaned away from the list straight away to optimize the deliverability, but also minimize the Klaviyo costs you have to be paying, because when these people get suppressed, you don't have to be paying for those profiles anymore within Klaviyo. And you have to be suppressing, and if you don't have these automated flows in place, automated like list cleaning flows in place here, where I explain how to set them up. And if you don't want to do that, you can just clean them manually every month or so. But these are mainly segments that we want to be cleaning out of the list. So suppression segments, spam drop role accounts, people who have never engaged with your emails in X amount of days. Usually we use 120 days as the baseline, then chronic bounces, and then spam drop segment. And also in the same document that I just showed to you, you can see all of the conditions of these segments as well. So you can build these, and then you can clean this out from your list every month, or just set up the automation to do the cleaning for you in real time. And then the final thing here, 5th step, you want to monitor your engagement signals like a hawk. So open rates are mattering more than ever for inbox placement these days, and you need to aim for consistently high engagement to create a positive feedback loop with the inbox providers to get them to start pushing your emails to the inbox instead of to the spam folder. And here you can see the benchmarks you need to be trying to aiming for. So basically you want to go for, let's say, why it's loading, so open rates at least above this, but I would suggest above 40 or 50 to actually optimize the performance. For click rates, at least above 1%. Klaviyo's suggestion is above 1.2. In many of the flows we go much higher even, but at least 1%. But to be honest, open rate is what matters the most. Then bounce rates below 1%. But if you're using the chronic bounces and recent bounces segments that I just showed you how to build, or you have the segmentation guide that I shared with you, you can build them segments, and usually you're able to minimize the bounce rates completely to almost reduce them altogether, or like almost remove them altogether. And then unsubscribe rates, usually you want to aim for below 0.3, at least below 0.5, and then spam complaint rate less than 0.01 would be optimal. And having all of the strategies in place here that I explained, it's going to be pretty easy for you to hit these numbers, but you want to be monitoring these on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, so you're able to make changes if something happens, if your open rates go down. Because if you don't make changes, it's going to really quickly end up to a situation where you're going into the spam folder, and then it's going to take weeks or months to heal that. So you usually want to monitor this in real time, so you're able to make changes before this situation happens. Because like I said, optimizing deliverability, maintaining is so much easier than actually healing and damaged domain reputation. And it's still doable, like I showed here in the example above. We did it for this brand, for example, and got them out of the spam folder eventually, but it's more technical process at that stage, so you don't want to end up to that position ideally. And when you do all of these steps here, your emails are going to be going back to the inbox instead of the junk folder. Your open rates can jump from 5% to 50% plus, like we showed as an example for one of the clients. And more people are going to be seeing, clicking, and then buying from your emails, and suddenly the same strategy that you used to generate no sales at all actually works. So that's what happened to this client, for example, that I just talked about. We didn't really revolutionize the strategy in general, but none of the emails were just going into the inbox. None of the people were seeing them. So as soon as people started seeing the emails, they already started to generate significant revenue from their emails. So like I said, we've seen this play out countless times, and in this video below I go through the whole strategy that I just mentioned to you, how we took this one of our e-commerce clients from 0 to 30k in email revenue in 30 days after fixing their domain reputation. And you don't want to ignore this one, because you simply cannot grow your email channel and get any email revenue if your deliverability is broken. And here's the video. You can watch this on your own time and see the whole strategy if you're currently facing these deliverability issues, how to heal that, how to fix the broken sender reputation, and how to actually start making impact with your email marketing. Now that's it for this video. With these 4 strategies I've gone through in this document, you can literally double or triple your email revenue in just a matter of weeks, depending on your starting point. But here's the thing, email marketing is changing fast. So while Google is, constantly updating their deliverability settings, the ad costs are rising all the time. The competition is just getting bloodier and bloodier every day. Most brands are still stuck in 2015. They're blasting site-wide promotions week over week. They're wondering why it's not working. And luckily, I have the solution. So basically, in 2025, there's a new strategy called customer value optimization that winning e-commerce brands are already using. And we're doing it for our clients. I'm breaking it down fully in our previous full training session video. So you can click this video below or on the YouTube screen right now to see me break it down. And thanks for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.